Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Women Speaking Sports RVA. I'm your QB1 Star Mallory, and I am joined with the lovely ladies of Women Speaking Sports. I have Carrie, Lisa, Dr. D, and Danielle with me today. We want to take this time to thank our sponsors, the Hilton, Jerry Howard, Fast Signs, and Mike King Biz. We have a wonderful show for you today, but if you want to listen again, you can find us on ESPN Richmond at 106.1 FM, Fridays at 6 a.m., and you can find us on The Choice at 105.3 Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Ladies, let's go ahead and get right into our topic. The first one, we're starting off with a little bit of fun, the NBA dunk contest and the All-Star game. What were your opinions and how did you feel?
It was a joke. It was the most boring thing I've ever seen in my life. They definitely have to change up the rules.
Yeah.
They need to switch it up because it was ridiculous.
Wasn't that some of the feedback though?
Yeah.
That the old guard, it was underwhelmed.
Yeah, it was.
They used to be so much fun.
Yeah.
There was excitement.
Yeah.
And a lot of momentum and build up to it. And it was kind of an afterthought, really.
Yeah.
I agree.
I really wasn't impressed. Nothing really spiked me. I mean, I can't do any of those dunks, but I mean, you know, just really wasn't anything there for me.
Just on a kitty size basket.
Yeah, Carrie's out with the kitty basket doing some dunks before she runs her marathon.
That's true. That's true. Well, you know, I'm the QB of football, but Danielle is the point guard of basketball, honey. So I'm just going to toss it over to you because I know you've got something to say.
Can we talk about handshakes, or should I say hand checks?
That was my coach.
Oh my.
That's my
And
coach.
talk about Michigan. Yeah, Michigan 5, you know, Juwan Howard, coach. What do you think? I say he went too far.
I agree.
I say, even if they exchange some words, he's the coach, he sets the example for the team. He's there to lead the team.
But wasn't the altercation with another coach?
It was
It
with
was,
another coach.
yeah.
And I didn't see it. I don't know, but
So,
I thought he said the man put his hands on him first.
If you
so when you watch the video,
It's always
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
second person
Right,
anyway.
so when you
that
watch the
always
video,
gets in trouble.
it is almost like he touches his elbow to bring him closer and they have an exchange of words. There's no way to tell if they were a positive exchange or a negative exchange of words, but there is definitely a conversation.
Well, what did the body language tell you?
Yeah.
When you first saw it, how did you feel?
With the reading of the body
Yeah,
language.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, the body language, I mean, you could tell there was something. And then, you know, I think his excuse was Michigan was ahead. There was less than
No, Michigan was not ahead.
No, Michigan was losing
bad.
badly.
Well, there was
Badly.
there was only a limited amount of time left on the clock, and he didn't think the other coach should have called the timeout with that kind of time on the clock.
Here's the bottom line. This isn't the first time for Juwan Howard. And being a Maryland fan, if you can remember last year, he had an altercation with the University of Maryland coach.
Ooh.
So bottom line is, you know, this is the second time. My husband and I were debating on this. I don't think there should be a third time. He's been suspended for 5 games. And to be honest, they
Is there a
probably.
fine?
Are we
I don't know if there's a
canceling
fine.
Juwan Howard?
are we socially,
Are we
culturally
canceling him?
I just think
Howard?
that
I'm not.
I think that
Carrie's not canceling
here's
him?
the thing. He's a former NBA player. He's worth $80 million. He's got a big time coaching job in college. You need to say, I get being angry. If I hit my boss upside the head,
Yeah.
there wouldn't be a second chance.
No, there
for
would
me.
not.
And I get that you might say words. There's an unwritten rule in college basketball. You might say some unwritten words, you know, unspoken words that are against the rules, but you can't lay hands on people. When you
Right.
hit somebody in the head, and nowadays,
It probably
You
felt
can-
good.
yeah, but see, I think that that's a really poor example for your young men.
Well,
Right,
I
but
don't
he
disagree
lost
with you that-
control.
I don't disagree with you on that, but if you're going to take that into the sports arena, we're going to have to get rid of a lot of players. And
Not when you put hands on people, though. That's different.
Oh, but there
That's
could-
different.
Have you ever watched the hockey
was
game?
because of what he
Yeah, but we're
said.
talking about basketball. We're talking about a head coach of a team, a Division I basketball team. It's not like Pee Wee League. On national television,
Although I might judge the
striking-
Pee Wee League even harder.
Yeah,
might-
exactly.
I might,
Set them straight.
the daddy
I'm
ball, I
sorry,
might
there's
jump
no
you.
excuse.
I'm not making excuses, but I'm saying that it is a prevalent thing throughout all sports that you see this.
And coaches, I disagree with that.
So,
yeah,
so,
I've
so
thrown
yeah,
it- I've thrown
coaches
it.
put hands on players,
Correct.
the pushing and shoving.
Yeah.
I mean, Latrell
It's not
Sprewell
right.
was
I'm
like,
saying,
I'm
yeah.
cool.
Well, look at
Exactly.
Bobby Knight. I mean, that, is the extreme, but I'm sorry. I think for a head coach of a college basketball team to strike another coach just does not set well with me. I'm
Right,
sorry.
it is a little
I
distasteful,
don't
just
disagree
like
with
when
you.
you put hands just on
I
anybody.
mean, how many stitches did the guy get?
It doesn't matter. He hit him. He hit him in the head. You need to see the video.
Over
He
top of
smacked
the,
him.
over
He-
top of
yeah,
the
he
crowd of,
reached-
he
yeah.
reached over players to hit him.
Yeah, that's an excuse.
So
So
we
I'm
have
sorry.
intent,
Three
there's a
players-
lot of intent
I'm
behind
That's
it.
right.
That's
He
Like,
reached
you're
over
my
three
target,
players.
I'm going after you, I think you deserve
The
a hit. and
video
I'm
is
gonna give you a
damaging.
So, but my
The
point
video is
is,
very
It is.
damaging.
Yeah.
yeah, but you don't know what was said to him and you don't know
Yeah,
his
but-
state
but
of
It's gotta
mind.
be
Lisa.
tougher than that. If he said something that upset him, let it go. Go off. It's not on the court
It
anymore. The
does.
game was over.
I love you, Lisa, but you can say some stuff that make me want to lay hands. I'm
Well,
sorry.
then you'd be
So,
wrong. You would be
I-
wrong.
and so-
And
but
that's wrong.
but you shouldn't cancel someone's career because of making a
This has
mistake.
happened before. He's had history with it.
We've
I think
canceled
you
a
should
lot
be
of
done.
people's careers because of mistakes though,
Yeah,
not just
absolutely.
in,
Absolutely.
not just in the athletic arena, but outside of it as well. So we
Correct.
have to
I don't
hold
know.
the
So
same
we talked
standard.
about mental health.
File a
and we talked
charge.
about-
Exactly.
We talked about mental health. We talked about resources. We talked about it for players. What about resources for coaches?
Coaches.
Right,
I'm not opposed to him getting resources. I just think that
File a charge, go to court, to find out what they say, but I think you do it just like anything else. If you put your hands on someone, then you should be brought up on charges. But I don't think you should lose your career because of it.
Well, I think what at least I think kind of going back to some other things we talked about, I think that Jawan should have owned up right away that I was out of line.
Wrong.
I was
Mhm.
wrong and not make excuses for it. And I think,
Yeah, and I don't think, we're not gonna see that. We're not gonna see that.
right, but I think, I think he was fined, but I don't disagree with you. There's no place for that activity. And we need to do better at all levels, but I think it's probably why I don't watch hockey because I don't like violence. I don't like anybody hitting anybody. And so when you go to watch hockey, it's like, oh,
But
well,
that's
there
what
might be a hockey.
that's what the players, not, I don't
Yeah,
see
but
the
they're
hockey
still
coaches going and
professionals. They're
attacking
still
another.
making a lot of money.
See, I don't agree
They're
with
all
that. I think that you have to hold yourself to a different standard in a coaching position. I'm sorry, I just do.
Okay.
I think
Point
everybody
taken.
should be.
Point
held
taken, yeah.
accountable.
So let's talk local college basketball.
Okay.
Local-ish.
Local-ish.
So
What,
let's talk.
VCU Rams beating, sweeping
Sweeping.
our spiders? Like
They
sweeping them
did,
big
they,
time?
they did. So let's give credit where credit is due.
Absolutely.
It was a
Our
great game.
very local team,
Yes.
VCU Rams, swept our other very local team, the
Yes.
University of Richmond Spiders.
Mhm.
And then our, just to the, I guess, the southwest of us, Longwood is set to make potentially their debut.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
This is
It's
big for
very
them.
exciting.
Who is the, because they got a new coach, right?
No, he's been there for a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
They're just
he's-
in a new, they're now playing in Division One.
That's right,
Right,
they're
right.
Division
Okay,
One,
that's-
but they could make their debut this year. They've had a fantastic season. They could be the Cinderella team. So there's some momentum, some more to come as we head into March Madness, but I can tell you, I might be cheering for Longwood if they get
Absolutely.
in.
Yeah.
I
think-
love a Cinderella team.
Yeah. Except a couple years ago in the tournament, right?
Right?
Danielle.
Hey,
You know, I have a dear, I have a very dear friend that I met after that tournament that played on that team. But I was cheering for them too, because they made it in. They
Right.
made it in. So I love, and they're local
Yeah.
and local-ish. So
Yeah.
we got to be on the watch out
Right.
for
Definitely.
Longwood.
So what do you guys think these teams need to carry their momentum through March Madness? What are certain things, what are we looking for in these teams?
I would just say it's been very kind of like with the NFL season, and
you still see a very up and down season with college basketball.
Right.
Some people are getting hot and then they're not, and it's just who's going to be ready and prepared after they get to the dance
Mhm.
to be able to really keep focused and carry it through.
Can I, now that we're talking about that, can I give a shout out to someone locally who plays on the #1 Gonzaga men's team? A friend of mine, his son, Rasir Bolton, is from Petersburg.
Shout out to
And
Petersburg.
yes,
High School
Petersburg.
Yes,
basketball.
he started at Petersburg High School. And
Their
then went
coach
to
has been there for
Massanutten,
years.
Military Academy, and now he starts for the #1 team in the country. And
Okay.
they're good people. On his free time, he gives back while he's in Spokane.
We love to hear that.
Tell us
good
his name
family.
again.
Rasir Bolton.
Rasir
right.
Bolton.
All right.
He's playing for Gonzaga.
Yep.
Check them out.
Check them out.
They're always Gonzaga always has a strong
They-
team.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
they've
they do.
been back and forth #1
They
all
beat
year.
UVA a few times, so.
But the one thing I like about
Danielle
it
knows.
too, he's like in our backyard. And
Right.
he'll always claim that. I talked to his dad the other day and I said, I hope whatever happens to Rasir, he never forgets. Because a lot of local celebrity athletes have kind of forgotten that Richmond was their hometown. He said, never, ever, never gonna forget it.
So I do want to bring up, I had a chance to watch the Tennessee, South Carolina women's
Oh, yeah.
basketball
Yeah.
game. It was a great game. It was a fantastic game. But part of the highlights that they did was they did a dedication. They did a statue of one of their former players, Ajay, and I can't remember Ajay's last name. But she gave a thank you speech for a statue outside the Coliseum. And one of the part of her thank you speech was her grandmother. So Ajay is 24, 25.
Yeah.
Her grandmother, who grew up 4 blocks from South Carolina, would not have been allowed to walk through campus. Her grandmother was no longer living and couldn't see the accomplishments, but her parents were there to see the unveiling of the statue outside the Coliseum. So it was just one of those moments, if you got a chance to watch the game, that, they're doing local, the town of, the home team as they're airing it. And I love the fact that women's basketball is being aired on a prime station.
Yes,
It's aired
as
on
it
Wings.
should
They had
be.
a whole day of women's basketball on ABC, so.
As it should be.
Great.
I mean, women should be celebrated as we all know, as we all push for on the daily. So that's really great. That's really good to hear. So, Dr. Danny, there is something pressing on your mind before the show.
Well,
You have a
It's-
great new coach.
oh, well, that too.
That's it.
But, she wasn't here when we were talking about it.
Dr. Tony has a couple news.
No, but the one thing I guess that came up to my mind was the Phil Mickelson comment and apology.
Mhm.
So tell our listeners who may not have heard it.
So Phil Mickelson was commenting about the rumor that, pro golf is going into Saudi Arabia, and all this other stuff. And most of the other big name guys have stayed away from it.
Mhm.
And he had decided that he was going to endorse it and support it. But he made a comment about they're all MF scared, talking about the player. He was like, but Saudi Arabia had, they killed Khashoggi. They have a horrible record with human rights. And, and so why would I even consider going? And then his answer was, because it has an opportunity to change the face of pro golf.
Mhm.
So backlash from the big boys, KPMG. I think Mickelson probably makes about 40 million in endorsements a year. And so all of a sudden he's eating his words. And the problem that I have with it is when I read his statement, my question was, what did he say that wasn't true?
Mhm.
I mean, it just seems to me that, again, this idea that we have to embrace a lot of things that we don't agree with. We have to be tolerant of a lot of things.
Right.
Why isn't it that someone who just speaks truth about a situation in explaining his rationale, why can't we tolerate that and just say, I don't agree with him, but go? I mean, he has had so much backlash from other golfers saying it reveals his character. I mean, it's so many haters that's coming after him. And all I could say is, you know, shout out to you. You should have used that platform to bring attention to some other things that's jacked
Right.
up.
Yeah.
Now that you have the spotlight on you and you're
What are you
calling
gonna-
things out,
yeah.
I would have. I mean,
What are you
that's
gonna
just
do
me.
with it?
But we've seen that lack of civility across spectrums where you can't just disagree, you have to be against. So you can't just disagree,
Yeah.
which I'm
You're right.
okay if we disagree.
Right.
But just because we disagree doesn't mean that I'm against. And
Right.
so what he got was, not only do we disagree with you, we're now at
Yeah, they're
you.
going
Yeah.
after.
Right.
I mean,
You're right. And
So
that's
we have to get to a point that it's all right. We don't have to have a one set mind thing.
We don't.
We don't have those in our
Good
organizations.
point. Good point.
We don't have that. You shouldn't have that across the board. So we have to get out of that one think mind frame that just because we disagree doesn't mean that we don't get along.
Yep.
Doesn't mean that we can't have a conversation. It just means that we think differently about whatever that one issue is. And we might have a long laundry list of other
Right.
things
Right.
that we agree on.
but it just
Yeah,
really
that's so
speaks.
true.
It's so duplicitous to be in this country where we say, you know, home of the free, home of the Braves. What is it?
Land of the free,
Land
home
of
of
the
the
free,
free,
home of
home of
the
the
Braves.
Braves.
And you know, freedom, individual, etc. And I mean, I know he's a personality, you know, but they made more out of it, meaning the average American probably
Yeah.
wouldn't even pay
We
any
wouldn't
attention
have
to
thought
it.
about it.
Right. You're
It's
right.
because our media just loves a story. We
Well,
sat
they
here
need- Their
last.
job is to get readers and viewers and listeners. That's their
Exactly.
job.
But we've
Exactly.
allowed that to happen. You know, and people how they respond, and that we let the media feed up this frenzy, and then everybody else, because then they have their own media.
Yeah, so
right?
let me
Right.
go judge you.
So we
Right.
can then take it into our own hands and create this bigger buzz on the social media, which then goes back to that media station, whoever started it,
Right.
and it fuels them too. So I think, you know, just have to watch how that participation is encouraged.
So let's talk about some positive media news. OBJ.
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 Shout out to
OBJ.
Steph who couldn't be
Steph
here.
B is not here tonight, but speaking of OBJ, she did send me a quote that she wants
She's still
us
here.
Yes.
She's still here.
to read out to our listeners. For those who've been listening for weeks on, Steph B loves OBJ as a person, as a player on the field, just an all-around guy she loves. So Steph B wanted to let you all know, I'm happy to see OBJ have success both as a young athlete and as a family man. His quote about his disappointment, the injury sustained during the Super Bowl, and his joy of becoming a dad shows his growth and development. Cleveland missed out on what many teams need to do more often. Connect with players as possible, not just as connect with players as people, not just machines.
Shout out to
Yes,
Steph B
that's
for
great.
not
So
missing
right.
the shade. of
Honey,
Cleveland.
I know,
Yeah,
right? I was
right,
like,
right.
She put it down. You know, Steph B does not skip a beat when it comes to the shade. She's going to shine light on every single situation. I'm very happy for OBJ. He entered the year as a champion, and now he has the opportunity to be a champion in his kid's life.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the good thing about his story is I truly think he found his place in LA.
I do.
It's a good home.
It's
for
a
him.
good
It's a
home for
good home
It
him.
is.
He has a good relationship with the quarterback. I think it's a good place for him. I really
I think
do.
so too. I can't wait to see what he does on the years to come.
I
I know he's not
I
going
know.
anywhere. I know he's not done.
Yeah.
I know he's not done. Just like Joe Burrow. Just throw that out.
Oh my gosh.
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
You know,
He might not
you
be
know.
gone, but he might be going out of system. He might be going out of Cincinnati.
Well, you know, I had to bring up Tom Brady. For
Oh.
So what
I
about
think we need
Joe?
to keep tallies of
Yeah,
how
there we
frequent
How many
we-
times
We say, how many
Terry
times-
brings up
So
Tom Brady.
and Becca?
So, yes, that's right. So 2 years just before the shutdown of the Great Disruption, my husband and I were at the Ripken Foundation event up in Baltimore. And I was talking to Tori Smith, who is, many of y'all know, played for the Ravens and the Eagles, but he's a Virginia native, has a really, really great story. He loves stories like you were just talking about the Gonzaga player. But what I have a picture of him talking and he's showing his Super Bowl rings to me. Of course, one of them was with the Eagles when they beat my boyfriend. But
Boyfriend.
but then I reminded him, you only have two, and Tom only has
Oh,
six.
Lord.
And
Did
Tom-
not.
Oh,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
I did. So we talked about this, and I said, well, and he just kind of looked at me. I said, maybe we should just start talking about Virginia again.
Like you lost that battle.
Yeah.
So anyway, I had to.
He
get
wasn't
in
going to
Tom.
win anything.
It was in my
He was not
Facebook
gonna-
memory.
Yeah.
Talking to Tori, and he's just such a good guy. And I don't know if y'all follow him on Twitter, but I do, and I love his engagement. So
Mhm.
And so you mentioned being at the Cal Ripken Foundation.
Maryland
Ripken
player.
Yeah,
Foundation
yeah.
event up in Baltimore. It's almost time for opening season. I don't know if we're
Oh.
gonna get there.
No.
But you know,
strike.
it's really interesting. We still
Yeah.
have our squirrels locally because it doesn't impact
Impact the
now
minor
the
leagues.
minor league. So we will still have our have fun, go nuts going on in Richmond. But yeah, I think there's some movement, some positive movement. But you would have already had the players and catchers.
Well, they're all in
Warming up with
Florida.
spring
They're,
training, yeah.
they're all down for spring training. It's whether or not they get a contract deal before opening day.
I think so. I think they will.
I'm hopeful.
I think there's a possibility.
Yeah, I
They
think
really
there's a
need
contract
to.
deadline this Monday or next Monday.
Dr. Danny,
Okay.
your face just says it all.
What did I do? What did I say? I have
You
not
might be
said
more readable than I
anything.
am.
I think so.
No love for the baseball.
I'm a Pittsburgh Pirates fan.
Oh.
Of
But
course, honey.
Willie
Steel
Stargell,
City.
but no, I mean, again, I'm excited about the NBA season, right? So I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about the trades. I'm thinking about, do I have someone in baseball that, I really go wild over? I mean, and when
Aaron
we,
Judge.
and,
That's mine.
but
That's your-
no, because I was a big
Carrie?
Poppy
Wait a
person,
second. When did this happen that she likes one of the Yankees?
Yeah,
Oh my
Aaron
I
God.
know.
And I used to be, I still like Derek Jeter, but Derek Jeter also has a Michigan connection. So he's
That's
been on the
right.
go.
That I forgot.
And back to Tom Brady, he's actually recruited.
Come on, back to Tom. Nah, back to
Everything
Tom
goes back
Brady,
to Tom
honey.
Brady.
If it-
Nah, back to
He was
Tom
drafted to
Brady.
Major League-
Every great
to Major
athlete
League
ties back to
Baseball.
Tom Brady.
They
Everywhere.
came through the Brady bunch, right?
Brady.
The Brady bunch. We gonna call them the Brady bunch.
He was drafted for baseball before he was drafted for football. And that's really interesting. There are a handful like Russell Wilson,
Yeah.
Very true.
on contract with,
Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
She said,
Well,
Michael
that was
Jordan.
after his, yeah.
You
that
know,
was
have to go backwards.
Yeah,
He
you
went
have to
backwards.
He went back.
But wait a minute. I mean, but the other thing that you might have read on my face is I felt like, when she started talking about squirrels go nuts and everything, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking about when I grew up here, they were the Braves.
Yeah,
Right.
And so another
Chipper Jones.
area of, being politically correct just snatches a memory away from me.
So I'll tell you this quick little moment. My husband, who's with us recording.
Hi, husband.
Hi,
was-
George.
was one of the very few proposals at a Braves game. Somewhere at CBS, there's a video recording of where they were filming the game and the camera perfectly timed, turned around as he proposed that whichever, I don't remember what inning, but.
That is awesome.
Wow.
Story. There you go.
But
There's
Danielle,
my
that
moment.
was my dream. I always wanted to get proposed to.
And be on the jumbotron.
And get married by Elvis. Neither one happened.
But
If you go to Vegas, you can do the Elvis
yeah, you
thing.
can do Elvis on Vegas.
Yeah,
I
you
Vegas.
could do that. So,
I still have the dream husband.
and so that did tie into sports. That did tie into sports.
Right.
But we got to get back to the story at hand. Flores.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Steelers, baby.
Welcome to the
We
Steelers.
are so lucky.
Welcome to the
He is
Steelers.
just a great coach.
He is.
Excited.
He is. We're
But do
gonna.
you think there's going to be any implication with the lawsuit? Because he didn't drop the lawsuit.
No, and
You
now
know-
it's a he said, she said with the Dolphins.
Exactly.
The latest is he came out and said that, well, they came out and said that there was no offer that wasn't on the table. He said he didn't take the offer and left millions of dollars on the
Right.
table. So I don't know.
I don't know. Before you guys even answer, we're going to go to halftime. We'll be right back. Women Speaking Sports, RVA. We'll be right back.
Gosh, my hands are sweaty.